Hello. Um, Episode 2 of The Dead Planet, or The Daleks, which we also know as The Survivors, which kind of puts pay to the notion that there was a dead planet in the first place, really. Um, Episode 2 of The Daleks, or The Dead Planet, which kind of puts pay to the notion that, no, I've done that bit and I said it wrong that time anyway. What's great about this episode, let's not do the obvious first, is Hartnell's on fire, at least for 10 minutes of it. He gets interrogated at the start, and he's ruddy marvellous. He really shows some chops. I don't think since the first episode we've seen him quite so bang on. And he's the star performer, apart from the obvious. And it's in that moment that you really get a sense of why, at least I got a sense of what the production team saw in Hartnell as an actor to play this enigmatic, mysterious role. And that was really fabulous. I really, really enjoyed that moment. There was a couple of fluffs in there from Hartnell, but seriously, I've realised I've not talked about Hartnell very much. And I think that's more to do with the fact that you kind of feel that you're going to talk about the actor playing the Doctor a lot, but of course at this stage in the series, it's a four-hander. It's four leads, or at least four major roles, and so when Hartnell does shine, it's something worth talking about. And he was great. Unfortunately, then he succumbs to radiation sickness, as I've just realised, slap back in the middle of the Cold War, Doctor Who, in its educational remit, shows you just what it's like to die of radiation sickness. That's great. The kids at home would have really appreciated that. Just after Kenya had died and probably the whole world was ending, and hey, radiation sickness. That's what we all need to know about in this day and age. So that was great. Just to cover our four heroes, Ian loses the use of his legs, prompting a line that me and my friends Paul and John used to quote incessantly, which is, "My legs! I can't feel my legs! I can't use my legs!" And then spends the rest of the episode trying to walk on these legs, which clearly aren't going to work. Hello, cat. So that's quite amusing. It's very interesting to actually see Ian, who ostensibly I think is the hero. Is that right? I suppose in a standard, I think William Russell had been tells us a Lancelot. Did he play Lancelot? Anyway, so you're used to him being the hero. I think I'm right in saying that. And of course, in this episode, he's shock horror, paralysed, and I would have thought in 1960s telly, being paralysed was basically akin to being useless. The world has changed, thankfully, but that's quite good. You know, it's quite interesting to take him out of the action. Barbara does bugger all in this episode. And then we get Susan. Now, bless Susan. Susan had an opportunity to go to really shine here, and to go, yes, I will be the solo TARDIS crew member to go back to the TARDIS and fetch the drugs, even though it's scary. And no, I'm scared, I don't have to do it. And you think, oh, that was your moment, Susan. You could have gone, yes, you stay here, Ian. I'll run back and I'll save the day. Oh well, such is life. I'm not shining to Susan at all. I don't particularly think it's her fault. There's been I will talk about this particular blog I've been reading, which is marvellous. I don't even know the name of the guy who writes it, actually, and I will cite it next time round. And he refers to something as the problem of Susan, which I think is a very apt description. Anyway, that's enough of that. The Daleks. Okay, so we get the first proper of the Daleks. And you've got to bear in mind that, for all we know, as a 1963 audience, these are just things that they could only be in one episode. We don't know. Start watching it. They could be anything. But it turns out that they're as iconic as the TARDIS, if not more so, in many people's eyes. So what do we get of the Daleks? Well, you get that classic design, the Raymond Kozik design, and that's what's stood the Daleks. That's what's paid. That's what paid for Terry Nation's caviar and Rolls Royces and Spitfire toilets and Fabergé cutlery. You know, it's that design. You know, the notion of the Daleks is a good idea, but it's Raymond Kuzik's design which just sends it into the stratosphere. It's that shape. It's that sort of stout, grim appearance. That uncompromised little stubby little. It's the first time I swear I'm going to say stubby little bastard, aren't they? The little with their little roundels and their little guns. But it's here that gives them the platform to become these icons. Right? It's this story, and they're filmed so beautifully. I don't know the name of the director. I will look it up for next time. But there's a couple of moments. There's the first time we see them en masse. There's only 4 of them, but the first time we see them properly, there's a shot where you get a Dalek. Hold on, let me see if I can do it with. So a Dalek over here at the background, and we get, I think, the Doctor and Susan in the middle, just back here. Ian's back here, and then from the sides we get the toilet plungers. I can't do it. I can't get my parents. But we basically get the toilet plungers going into frame like that. This one's that finger. So okay. So you get a shot. I suppose if it was Nazi stormtroopers, first time we said Nazis and it's Terry Nation, it would be guns that were pointed in. And of course the Daleks have got guns. At that point we don't know they've got guns. But by the way, we see the sink plungers, the toilet plungers there, sticking into the frame. Later on we get a shot where the Doctor's been interrogated, brilliant scene as I've mentioned, where the Doctor's on his knees, and the director films upwards. So even though the Daleks are shorter than people, which in itself is kind of weird, even though that's the case, at that moment, what's that phrase? Mise en scène, the placement of things in the frame, is that they're the tall, big guys at the back, and the Doctor is shorter than them. Brilliant. So the quality of the direction here and the design of the Daleks is all working together to make them the icons that they will become. There's a hilarious piece of dialogue towards the end where the Daleks are talking about the captives they've got, and one of them says of Barbara that she's sleeping happily. Oh, cute little Dalek, sleeping happily. What else to get? Susan running back through the forest. I don't like these. They're representative of running, I know, but this shot where you basically get somebody going like this. Hold on. And then things flying past. And I'm running, look. And we also get the shittest. I've swore. That's twice I've swore. Apologies. We get the worst cliffhanger yet. Possibly ever. Nah, it's not possibly. There's bound to be a worse one. Where basically Susan remembers what Ian said about having to be quick and decides to go back into the jungle. So anyway, an episode notable for my mind, at least, for giving 2 of the 3 icons of Doctor Who. The 3 icons of Doctor Who being the Doctor, the TARDIS and the Daleks, I would say. And all the rest can get in their wake. But it gives 2 of them a chance to shine. And it was good. My wife slept through some of it, but she's not feeling very well. Just before she fell asleep upstairs, she commented on how the stories are quite slow paced, and she's right, but I just think that's the nature of 60s telly. I don't think you can knock it for that, to be perfect, right? I think that's just what you've got to live with, and it makes it a lot more fun watching it in 25-minute segments. I'm going to get sick to death saying that. Although, let's see what happens when we get to episode 700. Will we be gasping for more? Who knows? But that was great. And this story is already shaping up to be a lot better than I remembered and a lot better than I anticipated, if you can have those 2 things at the same time. Right, good. We will see you next time. Chilly bye.